Has Toyota finally made an EV worth considering? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. Toyota is launching not one, but 3 new electrified crossovers in 3 different sizes. The all-new Toyota CHR, the BZ, or otherwise known as the BZ, and the BZ Woodland. And they've invited me to their launch event here in Texas to go on a first drive and take an in-depth look to find out whether these are the first electrified Toyota crossovers that you might actually want to consider buying. So as mentioned, there are 3 different models. The smallest and most affordable one is the CHR, which is sold in other markets as a hybrid, but for North America, we're only going to be getting the all-electric version. And next up is the revised BZ or BZ. Now this is going to be an updated version of the BZ4X, which they've dropped the last 2 letters in that name, and they made some significant updates to this model to give it more range, more power, better performance, and just make it a better vehicle overall. And then the third one, which is the largest and most expensive of the 3, is the new BZ Woodland, which is a large wagon. Picture something like an electrified Toyota version of the Subaru Outback, and you're not too far off. Which is interesting because Subaru will also be selling their own versions of these crossovers. Now, aside from pricing and size, how exactly do these 3 electrified crossovers differ? Well, there are some differences when it comes to the amount of power that you get and the driving range. Both the BZ and the CHR are going to offer a choice between either a single motor with front-wheel drive or a dual motor with all-wheel drive. The base front-wheel drive version of the CHR with the single motor produces 221 horsepower and will have a driving range of up to 310 miles or 500 kilometers on a charge. Interestingly though, the larger, more expensive BZ has less power in its front-wheel drive form, only 168 horsepower and a shorter range of only 235 miles or 378 kilometers. Now, if you want all-wheel drive with these 2 models, you can go with the optional dual motor version, which, thanks to having that second electric motor, produces 338 horsepower, and you get a driving range of up to around 290 miles or 465 kilometers on a charge, which is not too bad. And then finally we have the Woodland, which is the most powerful one of all. Thanks to more powerful motors, it produces 375 horsepower, but it also has the shortest range, around 260 miles or 418 kilometers. Okay, that's enough numbers. So what are they like to drive? Well, I've been driving this car for the past couple of hours on these roads here in Texas, and I have to say, this is a very nice driving crossover. It has all the typical EV characteristics that you would expect. It's incredibly smooth, very quiet, the ride is very comfortable, and it has a surprising amount of power. I drove both the front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive versions, and I really didn't have any complaints with either one. Of course, if you want to have serious performance, the all-wheel drive is the one to go for. With over 300 horsepower, it is surprisingly quick. I mean, that's really the attraction of driving an EV. The driving experience is really quite pleasant. The smoothness, the quietness, the incredible power that you get, it's really just unmatched when you compare them against a conventional gas-powered vehicle. Another nice addition that Toyota has made to all 3 of these crossovers is they come standard with the Tesla-style NACS charging connector, which means they're compatible with Tesla's supercharger network, which is a really good thing, and they also have faster charging. And Toyota has also added some really nice features like battery preconditioning, so you can actually prepare and warm up the battery so that it's going to be able to charge as quickly as possible when you arrive at a charger. And something else that's really good to know about Toyota's battery technology is that they actually do have a very sophisticated thermal management system for their batteries. So much so that Toyota actually guarantees that the batteries will have 90% battery retention after 10 years of use. And of course, Toyota does have the best battery warranty on the market, a 10-year warranty on all hybrid and full EV batteries. It's pretty clear that Toyota has a lot of confidence in their products and the reliability and longevity of their EVs, which is really no surprise given that Toyota has been making electrified vehicles, including hybrids and plug-in hybrids, for decades now. A few other nice things to highlight with the Woodland, which is the largest, most spacious one, but also the one that's designed for a more rugged, outdoor, off-road look, which is why Toyota gave it a bunch of things that off-road enthusiasts would really appreciate, including roof rails, additional ground clearance up to 8.5 inches, available all-terrain tires, and it even has a towing capacity of up to 3,500 pounds, which is quite impressive. And then we get to the interiors. Now, the interiors on all three of these crossovers are very similar. You have the same basic infotainment system setup with a very large 14-inch touchscreen that has wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a fairly straightforward to use user interface. You also have a digital driver display behind the steering wheel, which is actually perched up quite high, so you will have to adjust the steering wheel in order to see it properly. You have a center console with available dual wireless smartphone charging pads, your gear selector, and quite a bit of storage space. Of course, the biggest differentiator between the three has to be size and interior space. The CHR, as mentioned, is the smallest one of the three. It's roughly the same size as the Corolla Cross crossover, which is actually a pretty decent size and has enough room to fit a pair of adults in the back seat and a pretty good sized cargo area. The BZ is a size larger, similar in size to the Toyota RAV4, which should make it perfectly sized for the majority of buyers. But the biggest one, without question, is the Woodland. Thanks to its long wagon-like body style, it has an enormous amount of cargo space, significantly more than you get in the other two crossovers. And the interior feels very roomy, very spacious. There'll be no complaints with space when it comes to this one. I have to say, overall, I do like the Woodland the best of the three. It has an excellent look to it. It's incredibly practical, incredibly spacious. I really think the market needs more wagon-style vehicles just like this, and I really think that a lot of buyers are really going to gravitate towards it. Ultimately, what it comes down to is pricing to determine whether these are good vehicles to consider or not. Although the official pricing is not available yet, I predict that the CHR is going to be priced roughly between 30 to 35,000 US, or around 40 to 45,000 Canadian. The BZ should be priced roughly between 40 to 45,000 US, or 50 to 55,000 Canadian. And the Woodland will be the most expensive one, approximately 50,000 US, or just under 60,000 Canadian. So, should you consider buying one of these electrified crossovers? Well, the really good thing is that Toyota has now finally had enough time to refine and develop their electrified vehicles. Their first attempt at an electric crossover, the original BZ4X, was definitely showing signs that it was an early first attempt and it had quite a few shortcomings. But all of that, for the most part, has now been addressed with the new updated model and the other two models that have now been introduced. You get better driving range, better charging speeds, better performance, basically better everything for more or less the same price. And as mentioned, Toyota has a lot of experience building electrified vehicles. This is a company that, for the most part, really knows what it's doing. So it really does instill a lot of peace of mind for someone that's maybe a little bit skeptical about buying a brand new vehicle from a brand that might not know a lot when it comes to EVs. Which one would I consider going for? Well, I have to say, I really like the Woodland. There's something about the look of it. It looks fantastic. I love the body style being a wagon. It has a ton of interior space and cargo space, and the performance is very impressive. 375 horsepower, making it a very quick vehicle. With that said, I do think that the driving range is just not good enough. 260 miles or 418 kilometers on a charge in ideal conditions is just a little bit inadequate, especially for a vehicle that's likely going to be priced around 50,000 US or 60,000 Canadian. Which is why my number one pick of the three has to be the CHR, just the base model, for just over 30,000 US or 40,000 Canadian. I really think you're getting quite a bit of vehicle for the money. It looks great, it has enough interior space for most, it has the same great technology that you get in the other two for less money, you still get good performance, and you have the best driving range of the lot. So for someone who is open-minded and ready to consider an electric vehicle, I think that's one to take a closer look at when these vehicles go on sale later in 2025. So there you have it. Now, after watching this test drive, would you consider buying one of these electric crossovers? And if so, which one would be your choice? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also check out my other videos up in the corner. And if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to visit carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.